Good afternoon. It's Tom Hutchins here from Magic Software. I'm joined by my co-presenter Joe Da Silva. So today we are going to be taking you through a presentation and a demo of how Magic Software's tools will allow you to extend your enterprise applications to multi-channel mobile. I'm going to give a brief introduction about Magic Software because I don't know how much you all know about it. And then Joe is going to come in and give the more in-detail technical discussion. He's one of our top technical guys. Really, he's going to give a fantastic overview for you. So I can see that we have some attendees ready on the call. We're expecting a few more people to join, but hopefully we'll be able to catch up, no problem at all. So I'm just going to start this off. So I think you should all be seeing my screen. Please let me know on the chat if you can't see anything. So, Magic Software. We've been around for 30 years. We are experts in innovative technology, and our real USP is that we're focused on business rather than technology. We're focused on the outcomes. We're in 50 different countries. We have 15 offices. We serve over 2,500 global partners. Offices are spread throughout the world, several in Europe, Asia, Africa, and the Americas, both north and south. So our financials are solid. We've grown quite rapidly over the last few years. And I'll just say the thing about Magic to bear in mind throughout this presentation, you can develop it once, deploy to many different applications, and the outcome of that is enhanced productivity. So at this point I'm going to hand over to Joe. Just bear with me while I get the tool. Okay, Joe, you should now be presenting. Go ahead, please.
Thank you. Okay, I suppose I can't see the feedback, but I suppose if you can see, if you can raise your hand, or if you have any question, just post on the chat. And Tom should be able to see them and act accordingly.
Running a Q&A session, sorry, mention at the end.
Okay, excellent. So I'll give you an overview, and if you write down your questions, we'll have a QA right after, and hopefully you can understand better our proposition. The focus here is to explain the enterprise and the mobile platform. So you should have typical scenarios. I'm going to start with this one. If you have purchase order request, and what that implies in terms of someone that needs to approve that process, what steps should be the systems going through to give enough information, collect that information from the backend systems, in this case from the ERP. Do I have budget, for example? What is my current sales forecast? What numbers, figures, and points do I need to look into to make a decision? So this could be presented on a mobile device. Here we're using a BlackBerry, but it could be any mobile device. And I can see some data. And based on that information, I can drill down, see more figures, and then make a decision, either accept or reject. So the connection goes back from my mobile to my ERP system, and then approve a purchase order, for example. Or another case, I might be on the road as a salesperson, and I want to find out where I am, which customers are nearby. So I could either look on a map or type in some information, and that needs to link back my customers and the CRM system and Google Maps, and locate and display for me, maybe based on a criteria, which customers I haven't visited, or raised some support calls, things that will trigger that opportunity. I'm on the road, I'm near someone, it could be interesting to just pop up and have a conversation with them. Here are some more details or a map. And the last example could be a services type of scenario where I'm at a customer, I need to check for a specific part, do we have that in stock, or if not, I can either check the maintenance agreement, the availability of that part, and trigger a dispatch back into the back office system. So all these links and cross links point out to a common scenario: a mobile front end, multiple systems on the back end, and a few business rules that need to be applied and interacted with those systems and the mobile device. So these are the 2 points. How do I interact the back-end systems, all those interconnections, and the mobile device, present that on a specific mobile device or multiple mobile devices. If we look at back-end, or what tools or parts I need to make that possible. On this example, we have, if we start at the bottom of the slide, I have some native clients that could be from a desktop to a tablet to a phone or a browser. And through the internet, I need to link back to an enterprise application that would apply those business rules or allow a developer to create those business rules, create the front end, and also interconnect to the back-end systems. This could be a typical enterprise application like SAP, Oracle, etc., but it could be your own bespoke legacy system and multiple data sources, multiple databases, or even all the code that you already have developed in-house, either in .NET, Java, or something like that. So what pieces help me to put those solutions together? We could start with a list of predefined connectors that allows me to point and click to any service, any application, any data source or code or interface, and then start creating business rules to make sure that the information on the scenarios I showed you, I need a part number, where's that sitting, which system can confirm that availability, for example. So those business rules are implemented in a way that is not coded the traditional way. So what I do is drag and drop those connectors in a sequence and define what steps need to be done to establish a business rule to do a check or confirm or submit or approve a document or a process. So what you see now on the slide is a programming part. It's exactly the way that I will code that business rule and which systems are involved. In this slide, you can identify, if you're familiar with Dynamics and a SharePoint, for example, and other processes, but this has no coding per se. When I map or when I connect one system to another, I have a left-hand side and a right-hand side. In this example here, if I want to get data from Microsoft Dynamics and put that or validate that against Oracle JDE, I see those two, source and destination, in a visual way. What's on the left is my source, what's on the right is my destination, and I, with a mouse pointer, just drag and drop from one side to another. I can double click and do some transformations, and for those transformations I can use a format or a formula, just like in an Excel document. So still I don't need to code anything the traditional way. I can do this also guided by wizards that will allow me to go through specific applications, like for example Oracle, and use services or that application exposes. For example, in the case of JD Edwards, I could use web service or JMS or BSFN and connect this to JDE. So this allows me to focus on the available interfaces of an application. Those connectors I showed you before will interpret those interfaces and present for me in a wizard format that I can simply fill in. And this, as a developer, or as the person that is implementing the solution at the moment, I don't, or I do have leverage in speaking with the JD Edward expert or the SAP or the Salesforce or Dynamics, because the wizards will present me with specific choices for that specific systems and allows me to then have a quick conversation with the expert saying what kind of object do I need to connect to, where is this data, and this will be presented for me by the wizard. So on the client side, I can create an application, a visual screen, for example, but what is the advantage here? So you have an application that do the integration part and do the connectivity to any enterprise system. You have security layers that you can manage on those connections and how data transfer from the client to the server. You have the application development tool, and you have one single way to develop. So when I create a screen, I create a user interaction, I create the data that should be displayed, and I don't need to consider in terms of, is this going to be displayed on a BlackBerry, on an iPhone, on a tablet. Those are generated for me automatically. So I create once, and that is deployed on any of those devices automatically. That is the multi-channel. So I create once, but I have ways to deploy this into a multitude of platforms, including future ones. So we, as Magic, provide you an update, constant updates for new platforms that come into the market, are now available, so we can deploy or support that platform. And you, as the developer of your application, don't need to do anything extra. As soon as we make that available, you can now run natively on those platforms your original application as you have developed before. And you have monitoring and a lot of tools to allow you to deploy, check, or be alerted in terms of managing all those connections between those systems and the entire life cycle of your application. With this, you obviously are gaining a lot in terms of return of investment, because instead of having to support all different platforms, coding for each one specifically, having multiple teams, have multiple expertise, these are all eliminated. You have only one that will support all that and allows you to connect quickly to any application, gives you an extreme flexibility to implement and deploy any application that you need. So if you look at the normal cycle of development, you have all this physical environment you need to support, you have a lot of devices, and the business need itself is defined only at a higher level. On our case, that is the part that you need to focus. What the business need is at the moment, what is the logic, what is the process that you want to implement, and what kind of display or interaction or fields you have on the client side. And this will be all the underlying part are supported by the platform automatically. The design process will go like this. you have the business process logic defined, you create the presentation layer, and this allows you to deploy on any device, either a BlackBerry or a tablet or any future device that may come to the market, including desktops. The context is also managed for you, so the presentation is adapted. If I'm looking at a BlackBerry, I will interact my form of navigation, the look and feel could even be defined but by or for that specific device. Whereas on a tablet, an iPad for example, you have different expectations, but the look and feel, the native controls are also generated and supported automatically by the platform. And you have a few options to adapt as well. I think the typical case would be the color scheme or the look and feel that can be tailored to any device, but you don't have to. It's supported automatically by the platform and generated automatically as well. Another important point is the scalability. How do you do if you create an application, start selling to the market, and suddenly this is tremendously successful? How do you scale up? So the platform also supports the scalability out of the box. You don't need to go back and rework your application, redesign your application to support the scalability. So you can support one way to scale up is add more threads, so add more capacity on the server side from the platform, and that will automatically scale up your application. And also you can add more and more engines to support thousands of users. So that is provided to you as also out of the box. The model of deployment for the client side specifically, we have typically on the market, you have web apps, so everything is running within a browser. And you have the hybrid case where you have some wrapping native for each platform, but within that wrapper you have again a web application, a mini browser toolkit, if you like. That could be the mixed mode, and you also have the native apps that have all the controls, look and feel, and details for each platform natively designed. In our case, you can have the hybrid as well, but typically by default, out of the box, you have the native applications. Those native applications are running as one development model. Remember that I just create an application only once, and that is supported natively on all the devices. In summary, what you have is multi-platform support, so all major mobile devices or platforms are supported out of the box. You have the enterprise integration side. Those are the connectors that allows you to create any integration, any business rule with the backend systems. And you have native clients that are developed and deployed for each platform automatically. And any form factor, the navigations for different devices could need support for keyboard like the BlackBerry, or touch like the others, smartphones or tablets, and you have that out of the box. And you can also bring with the hybrid mode other support if you need. For example, HTML5, some people are more and more interested in HTML5 or have some effort already done in HTML5 that could be brought into your development within the platform and then deployed together with our native client. this is my quick presentation. So I'll open for the QA now. And I can't see any comments yet, but Tom can come in and take over and let me know what are the questions, and we can work from there. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Joe. This was a great presentation. So, any questions on the line? Actually, hold on a moment, because I'm not sure that we've made it yet so that attendees are able to talk. Okay, if you have any questions, please could you type me them while I figure out how to enable audio for everyone, please. So, Joe, I have someone has written, nice presentation, Joe. So it's fantastic. Thank you for feedback. Glad you enjoyed it.
Thank you. It's great.
I don't have any questions on here at the moment. Oh, here we go. This is one that might be quite interesting for a few people. Can you elaborate on the difference between how Magic works and other integration tools like an ETL type platform?
Sure. What you have, I think the first differentiator is if we look at the backend part. So let me just go back to slide. You still, I suppose you still can see my screen, right?
That is correct, yes.
Yeah. Okay, if we have the, where is it? Let me just get the slide on. In terms of the ETL tool, so if you think of just getting data and transforming that data, yeah, that's a very good start. What we offered at first is the extension of how much further you can go. So if you look, have a quick look at this list of connectors, those connectors allows you to not only get data from one side to another, but integrate or create in a flow a multitude of systems, a multitude of services or interfaces. So we're not only talking about applications, but multiple data sources or multiple code. So it's extended not only from the ETL point of view, but now into a more SOA format. Because if I think, well, I have currently a legacy system, multiple platforms, some code in Java, some code in .NET, but these are all parts of a whole process, a whole business process that I need to approve. I need to run through to approve a document or approve a purchase order or a specific need from the business. It's very easy. It's similar to just point and click and integrate all that into one business process, into one flow. That, I think, is the biggest differentiator if I look how much more power I can have. Or to pick another example, if I have SharePoint, I might be bringing SharePoint, or SharePoint might have arrived at the company later, and I can now integrate that and generate any information to SharePoint, for example, in and out of SharePoint. And the other very important one is the client side. So when I'm integrating all those systems, typically I'm talking about server side, machine to machine. But those business processes many times have the client side. And the client side, either for, let's say, a dashboard that I need to create, or the 3 examples I showed you at the beginning. And these require that I create an application that will interact with the users. This is a typical front end, and I can do that. That's another connector that I use, or another part of the platform that I use to create the client side. And this is much more extensive than the typical ETL that you find out there.
Okay, thank you for that, Joe. I don't see any other questions on the chat at the moment. I'll just give people a few seconds if they have any other questions to put in. Otherwise, I guess we'll go ahead and finish the session. Okay, so thank you all very much.
Well, that's running.
Sorry.
Sorry, yeah, I was just going to say, I would encourage you to maybe have a quick prototype or demo of this on site if you like. Just contact them and we can arrange that.
Absolutely. So to contact us for that, you can email marketing_UK@magicsoftware.com. Also, on the emails you sent for advertising the event, there was a contact us link, and you fill that in, that also comes straight to us and we'll respond. So yeah, thank you all very much for joining. I hope you found it an interesting session. We will be running more of these throughout the year, and hope to see you again soon. Thank you.